Hello and welcome to, I can see my drinks hot, 10 minutes of some leg strength exercises. So what we're going to do is we're going to be, I've got a chair there, okay, you don't have to use it, but I'd like to just sort of bring it in a little bit if I can. So we're just going to start just by standing nice and tall. We don't really want to go straight into any strength work without having done a little bit of mobility and getting the muscles a little bit warmer first. So 10 minutes isn't a huge amount of time, so we must be aware of that when we're doing the exercises. So we're going to walk on the spot, we're going to just take the hips and the knees and the ankles through a nice range of movement, but we're not going to really push these exercises to our maximum. We're just going to keep everything at a moderate level of intensity. So we're just walking on the spot, and then we're just going to see if we can start warming those ankles up just for some little toe taps. So balance wise, you might want to hold on to something, or you might be quite happy, and we're going to focus on just nice relaxed shoulders. You can take those shoulders into a little bit of roll if you like. Just because we're doing leg strength doesn't mean you can't warm up the rest of the body, okay, because everything works together. And then we're going to just take those heels in front of you. Okay, nice little heel taps. So we're just starting to get a little bit of movement in the hips, in the knees and in the ankles. Good. And then what we'll do is just take some taps to the side. So again, we're warming up. So it's a nice smaller range and then just gradually building that range. So ideally we've got a nice space around us. And then we're just going to take some little taps behind us. Good. Now what we're going to try and do is go from a tap behind to a little squeeze of these heels behind us. So I like to take my feet a little bit wider when I'm doing these movements. We're going to try and keep a nice strong core. So keep that nice space between the base of the ribs and the top of the pelvis. We're going to bring it down and we're going to take that little pedal and we're just going to roll those shoulders, maybe take some elbow circles as well. So we're starting to feel a little bit warmer, but what we're going to try and do is just lift those knees up a little bit higher. We're going to lift those knees up a little bit higher. Good. Now let's just see if we can walk it out. I'm going to see if we can walk it out. So we're nice and relaxed in the upper body, nice relaxed movement. So we're feeling quite natural about it. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider. We're going to come back to hip width apart. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider and we're going to come back to hip width apart. Now, what we're going to do to start off with is I'm going to use my chair. So I'm just going to feel for the chair on the back of my legs and I'm going to lower myself into that chair. Now, what we want to make sure of with your chair is that your hips are level with, but ideally ever so slightly higher than your knees. If your hips are below the knees, you either need a higher chair or maybe some sort of support, but a really stable cushion underneath you. Now we're going to see if we can just walk into that front half of the chair. We're going to bring the heels just underneath the knees and we're going to just take the hands onto the thigh. Now all we're going to do is if we were going to stand up, we're going to just press into those feet onto the floor. So we're pushing into the feet as if we were going to stand up. Now you'll notice these thighs tensing up. So this is great for quad strength, great for glute strength. Okay, so we're just hovering. Good. So if you want to know what this would be useful for, strengthening the legs, so things like getting out of a chair, does what it says in the box. So we're going to do about 10 of those, okay? Now if you're having a day where it's not too easy, even just pressing down, even if that bottom doesn't come off the chair, you can feel these thigh muscles working. So you can build up to that little hover. And once you've got it, see if you can control the movement back down a bit more. So you're really controlling it. I'm struggling. So when we've done 10 of those, we're just going to move the feet a little bit. Okay? Now from that, we are going to move into full stand. So when we stand up, we're going to wiggle the toes or move the feet just to prevent any sort of dizziness. So again, if those feet are too far in front of you, biomechanically, it's impossible. I can't get out of my chair, even there. So make sure those feet are underneath, maybe even a little bit behind the knees. Knees hip width apart. Now, we are going to push down those feet into the floor, come all the way up, move the feet. Now, when we're coming back down, we really want to make sure that that chair's not going to put away. So sometimes you might want to put the chair against the wall. I'm just keeping it here so you can see me, and I've got quite a supportive carpet so the chair doesn't slide. Now, if we're going to be feeling for that chair on the back of the legs, again, we've got to get into position. Power. So we're going to do 10 of these. So this is level 1 of the sit to stand. So we're actually shuffling backwards, feeling for that chair on the back of the legs, then walking ourselves into position. If you feel confident going up and down, then we can power up, and we're going to just slowly lower down. Good. So these arms I'm using, you can see, if I push my arms forwards, it helps with a bit of momentum. You can also put the hands here and just push, but what you don't want to do is this, okay? So this is our sort of first step in helping. Okay, we can push these arms up, lovely. Or once you've got the hang of that, you might just want to let those hands hang by the side, or this makes it even more challenging. So we're doing about 10 of those, okay? And then we're going to walk it out. Good stuff. So we're keeping that really nice strong trunk. Okay, next stage. What we're going to do now is we want a little bit of support for this. So if you've got your chair, we could use the back of the chair, but it wants to be quite supportive. So if it's a bit flimsy, you might be better off holding onto a wall. And what we're going to do now, again, bit of thigh strength, bit of glute strength. We're going to see if we can stand nice and tall, and we're just going to see if we can take one foot off the floor, and we're going to just gently bend one leg and then straighten it, okay? So this is all about sort of strengthening the muscles that support the knees. So it's a really small little movement. I'm going to show you in this direction. We're going to do 10 on this side and 10 on the other side. Now, keep that heel glued to the floor, okay? Make sure those knees are stable, and when they bend over that second toe. Make sure we're keeping that nice strong body, okay? So that's 10 on that side. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to do 10 on this side. Now, this is a sort of common thing that you see if someone's holding on. So see if we can make sure we've got that bottom in, and we're just taking the knee off lock, straightening it. Taking that knee off lock, straightening, and you can feel those muscles. It's a very deliberate movement. Good. Okay, so we're just bending, straightening. Lovely. Bending and straightening. Good. Bending and straightening. And when we've done 10 on this leg, we're just going to gently walk it out. Good. Okay. So I promised you 10 minutes of leg strength. 10 minutes of leg strength is what you're going to get. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do a little bit of strength here. So we're going to stand nice and tall. Now I'm going to put my hands against the wall to stop myself doing this or this, because we're going to do a little bit of work on these muscles here. Okay, so what we don't want to do is to lean. And it's a smaller movement rather than a bigger movement. So that bottom in, we're coming out, slowly back, out. So I've got my knee facing forward, my big toe facing forward. I'm not trying to get that leg as high as I can. We're just working these muscles in the side of the bottom. Good. And when we've done 10 on that side, we're just going to move the feet a little bit. I'm going to move this way a little bit. We're going to do 10 on the other side. Good. So if I show you from this angle, I'm not leaning forwards or backwards. I'm not trying to get that leg high. I'm just thinking about these muscles here that we're working. Okay, that's great. And you'll find that that balancing leg actually has to do a lot of work just to stay strong and stable. Good. Okay, we're going to take one more. bring it down, and then we're just gonna walk it out. Okay, so there's no flexibility work here, there's no stretching, there's a little bit of movement when we finish, okay, but what we've done there is we've done some work for the thigh muscles, the bottom muscles, okay, and yes, that's what we were doing. So nice and easy does it. Good, we are done. Thank you.